continue the series of Christ's messages to the 7 churches in Revelation. This is message 10, and we are looking at the 7th and the last church, and it is the church in Laodicea. We see Christ's message in Revelation chapter 3, verses 14 to 22. So let me continue this see what we can learn from this last church. It was again belongs to the group of the 7 cities in Asia Minor. Let's have a look at the map again to refresh our memories. Here we have the 7 churches all lined up together. We have Ephesus here, coastline, Smyrna, there are harbors, and then we have Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, which we saw in the last message, and lastly, this is Laodicea. This was a very prosperous and wealthy city, but it had a problem. This city was famous for its hot mineral springs, which flowed over lime-crusted hills and reached Laodicea. These mineral springs was nauseating in its smell, and by the time it traveled across the limestone hills, when reached the city, it was not hot anymore, but it had become lukewarm, so making people who drink it feel physically sick. This 7th church, please mark this, of all the 7 churches, is most unsparingly condemned by Jesus Christ. Let me repeat it. This church of all the 7 churches is most unsparingly condemned by Jesus Christ. Now, why is that? Let us have a look at it. It was a prosperous and wealthy city. It was a center of banking, manufacture of black wool. It was known very popularly for its medical school, especially the Phrygian powder, as they called it, that cured ophthalmia, which was an eye problem. Laodicea, as we saw, was situated near hot springs, but by the time the water came, it had become lukewarm. After its overthrow by an earthquake in AD 61, it was rebuilt by its own citizens. They didn't need help from anyone. They were prosperous, wealthy, and self-sufficient enough to build it without any subsidy. So we need nothing, was virtually what the inhabitants said. Now, how is Christ presented to this church? Let me read chapter 3 and verse 14. These are the words of the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the ruler of God's creation. Is the Amen, is the end of all things. He is faithful and He is true, and He is the ruler, the sovereign controller of all of God's creation. Talks of His power and His authority as a faithful, true witness, and as the Amen. Now, you will find that in all the churches, after presenting Himself, He begins His message by saying, I know your deeds. Know means intimately, closely, not just what they are putting outside, but within them, what they are thinking, what their intentions are. Everything He knows. I know your deeds. He says that again. And you know what He says? You're neither cold nor hot. What a message to this city. They know what it means. because they were getting this lukewarm water, neither hot nor cold, nauseating and making them physically sick. So Christ tells them, you are neither hot nor cold, tells the church. And I wish you were either hot or cold. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot or cold, I am about to spit you out of my mouth. What a thing. It's going to vomit them out. Cannot tolerate them. They are abominable. Lukewarm. Neither here nor there. I wonder whether we fall into that category. Lukewarm. And he says, you say, I'm rich, I've acquired wealth and do not need a thing. So self-sufficient, independent spirit, proud, arrogant. I don't need anything, don't need anybody's help. But you do not realize, you see, that's what they think. But they don't realize that you are, look at the adjectives Christ tells them, you are wretched, you are pitiful, you are poor, you are blind, and you are naked. Can you add any more worse adjectives to that? They think they are rich. They have no need of anything. Don't need anybody's help. They can do everything. But Christ says, but you do not know that you are wretched, that you are pitiful, poor, blind, naked. What a condemnation. So he wants them. I counsel, don't think of your physical gold, but gold refined in the fire of faith that will be tested. Gain that so you can become spiritually rich, true riches, and white clothes to wear so you can cover your shameful nakedness. And they have this big famous medical school that gives this healing for the eyes to that powder, but he says, you will put salve in your eyes so that you can see spiritual things. Those whom love, I discipline. So be earnest and repent. And then he says, last verse to the churches, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and eat with him and heal him. An invitation to be invited. He longs to be invited, but the door is shut. The church's door is shut to Jesus. Jesus is not in the church, he's outside the church, thrown out, because they don't need anybody. But he says, open the door, and I will come and fellowship with you. And the promise to him who overcomes, I will give the, what a privilege and honor. I will give the right to sit with me on my throne, just as I have overcome and sat with my Father on his throne. A great promise if they will overcome their pride and their arrogancy and self-sufficiency and acknowledge the need of their Savior. The Laodicean church, how will we call it? Call it the lukewarm church. The lukewarm church. Christ ready to spit it out of his mouth. May the Lord help us evaluate ourselves. Are we wealthy? Are we powerful? Are we using that to do things, to influence others? Maybe even if it's for good. And you say we don't need anybody else, we can take care of ourselves. But we need to realize our spiritual poverty, that we always need our Savior to rescue us, to cleanse us, make us clean, open our eyes to see the truths of His Word and of His glorious person, and to cover our nakedness with the clothes, not of the rich and of the good, but of righteousness. mercy for ourselves. Help us evaluate ourselves and see what are the changes we need to make as you hear Christ again giving the same messages to each one of us as individuals and to us as a church. What place have we given Christ in our life? Is He Lord, the very center of our life? Or have we unknowingly or knowingly left Him standing outside? Shall we pray? Come to my heart, Lord Jesus. There is room in my heart for you. Help me to change in all the areas that you show where I'm lacking. And Father, take me, fill me with your Spirit, and use me for your glory in the furtherance of your kingdom. In Jesus' name.